Well, this was about, I want to say this was in around 1979 or 80. I want to say. Me and Merky went to her party at her job. And afterwards, we go by her friend's house and we was hanging out. We'd been sitting there, we'd been drinking pretty good that day. So Merk says to me, I done ran out of gas, Daryl. So what we're gonna do? So I said, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna go fit this other car. Give me the can, and then you have a hose in the car. She had a hose in the car, so I got the hose and went and broke in somebody's car and sucked the gas out. So our story, every time we seen, you're gonna know why I said we had a gusher. So when the gas started to come, I said, Merk, we got a gusher. So I put it in put the thing in the gas can. We took it down to her car and filled her car up. So every time we would go somewhere, everybody would hear, everybody knew the word. We had a gusher, and that's what the gusher meant. I had stole gas that night to get us home.
Well, I have a lot of stories about Mert, but I think probably the best story I have about Mert is when I was about 9 or 10 years old. We came out here for vacation, and she took us out to dinner. She took us to, I think, IHOP, and she took us to get sneakers and all this stuff. And like we were talking earlier about my mom, we didn't go out to dinner. We didn't go get new sneakers
No,
just
we
because.
didn't.
And so I just thought it
She
was
did.
so cool. I mean, anything we wanted. She spoiled us in ways
Yes, she
that
did.
I
Yes,
could
she
never
did.
even imagine. And I always appreciated her for that. And when I heard that she had passed away, every time I think about her, a big smile just comes over my face because every time we were together, we always had a good time. And another quick story is when I was pregnant with my oldest daughter, Leah. Anytime Mert was around, Mert had a way of making you feel comfortable, and she makes the energy just right. And so she was in the room with me when I gave birth to her, and that was very special. And she was there rubbing me, and she was making sure, her and Debbie was making sure that I got in and out of the tub, the hot tub, in between my contractions and so forth. And I just always appreciated her for being there for us in that moment. And
My name is Robert Moss, and I'm Debbie's cousin, and Cleve's cousin, first cousin. But anyway, we're here to celebrate my aunt getting her wings going home, and I'm here to bless the food too. So I'd like for everybody to bow their heads. Lord, we want to give praise and thanks to your holy name. Thank you for giving us taking us to our destinations, bringing us here safely, Lord. I want to thank you for that. We want to ask that you bless the hands that made this food. We ask that you bless this food and nourish this food for our bodies, Christ's sake. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Hi, family. My name is actually Kimberly, but Myrtle has called me Kimmy my entire life. So as I was just telling these ladies over here, for years I thought Myrtle was my aunt. And I called her Aunt Myrtle like the rest of the family. And I was grown, married with child when I learned that she was actually the oldest grandchild. And from that point on, I started calling her Myrtle. And she clearly said, "Your ass so disrespectful. Smack your ass." But we developed a bond. My mother passed away in '84. And prior to my mother's passing, she had asked Myrtle to come to Alabama to visit. And she came, and Myrtle told my mom that she had to leave. And my mom told her she thought she should stay. So Myrtle was like, "No, I have to get back, go to work, yada, yada, yada." Well, my mother passed before Myrtle left. So she said to me, "I think Aunt May was putting us together." So from that, we developed a bond. Sometimes we go left, but no matter where we went, we always came back together. I had a cousin in Michigan that would say, "You don't say nothing about Myrtle to Kim, and you don't say nothing about Kim to Myrtle, because they thick as thieves." And we were. We try to figure out stuff together. We talk all the time. And we just developed this connection. She would come to Atlanta, so I'd pick her up, and we'd hang out and do our thing, and then I'd take her to see our aunts, and then we come back and hang out again. And I am truly going to miss her. My intent for coming here was for her birthday. But I'm grateful that I did get to come. I'm grateful I got to talk to her again and see her. And I don't know, she was a lively spirit. So, oldest cousin, Aunt Myrtle, she was my girl.
I think our first time we met, Cleve's mama's Myrtle. She talked a lot. She talk a lot. She like, yeah, move around front so I can see you. I move around front, see her. She always talk about how she like to dance, and she tell me a lot of that. First thing she was telling me that she said, you know I'm a cougar. And Cleve said, stop it, Mom, stop it. Well, he should know I'm a cougar. Cleve, like, she ain't moved out of that chair for how long? You're not no cougar. No, I'm a cougar. And, but me and her talk a lot. Every time I come over, me and her talk. She always gave me a little advice on things I had if I had problems at work or I'm going through things with people. And she said, let them do what they do. It'll come to them later. But just keep doing what you do. So I started calling her Mom, too. What's up, Mom? Move around. She always wants you to come in front so she can see you. And she'll tell you fast. You walk up to her and you try to, hey, how you doing? No, give me a hug. Give me a hug. All right, show her some love and, give a hug. And over the years, me and Cleve has become pretty close. So therefore, me and Miss Myrtle has become pretty close. Along with Chavo here, she always said, Chavo the fighter and the dancer and master shooter. Where's Myrtle? Come on. But that was,
Chavo's scrapper.
Yeah, scrapper. Yeah, Chavo's scrapper. He's a fighter. He's a scrapper. And we enjoyed every time we had with her. I'll pop up and just socialize with her and Cleve sometime, and we could sit and talk for days. She'd be in there doing her thing on her machine, her wiggle. She said, what you doing, Miss Myrtle? I got to wiggle. She wiggled in her chair because Cleve got her hooked up to her dialyzer. Every time I go in there, and she doing her thing, you look at me, I'm moving. And she kept that movement going on until everything was done. Yeah. And we're going to miss her. My wife got to know her, and I have my sister send her some mangoes from Miami. So she liked the Miami mango. You can't switch it up on her. She'll know the difference. She went through that with Cleve. This ain't the same thing. And she liked the Miami mango, so I used to have my sister send her to her. Otherwise, we're going to miss her, and yeah, surely she's going to be missed. And thank you.
Well, I could just
Do what you do,
do what I
Sam.
do. Well, my name is Cheryl Kendrick, and
Hi, Cheryl.
Mert is Mert is my aunt. She married my very handsome uncle Cleveland many years ago, and I was just sharing with some ladies earlier. I never knew my uncle Cleveland, but I hear he was just all that in a bag of chips. And so I wouldn't be here. Matter of fact, none of us from this table would be here if it wasn't for Mert. Mert house was kind of like the, what do you want to call it, the cornerstone or whatever. Every time somebody came to town, you always had a place. And you were always welcome at Mert's. And so my brother Daryl moved out here in 1979, I believe. And so he said, Cheryl, you have to come out here. It's cool. They party and having a good time because Mert didn't judge whatever you wanted to do. Like I said earlier, if you want to drink this here, baby, you can have the whole bottle, whatever. So it was always a cool place because I grew up in a very strict Christian household. So coming out here and just being able to just really have a good time, Mert was all about that. And so anyway, Daryl called and said, Cheryl, you should come out here, man. This is great. So eventually I did. I left Alabama, went to California. I left California and came out to Seattle. And been here ever since probably, 1984, 85. So many years. I mean, they say home is where the heart is, and this is where my heart is, and been here ever since. But I could say a lot of things about Mert. I mean, it depends on how much time you got, but I'll make it, as short as I can or whatever. But when I remember one of the most memorable things I remember about Mert is when we came out here, because we were talking earlier about my mom and how she would batch all of our birthday parties at once. It was 4 kids. We didn't have individual parties. We've never had individual parties. She'd batch them all in the summer and say, y'all can bring about 10 friends, so it'd be 50 of us there. and so you come out here, and so Mert was like, you guys want to go out to eat? We didn't go out to eat. That was foreign to me. So she took us out to, I want to say, probably IHOP or something like that. And it was like, ooh, that was fancy schmancy. But we didn't go out. And then after that, she says, you guys want to go shopping? We only got shoes when it was time to get shoes. Everything was a system at our house. And she says, yeah. And I looked at Debbie. I said, we can go get some shoes. She said, yeah. She said, anything you want, Mom, buy it. I said, she said, anything you want in the store, she'll buy it.
Get it, I'ma get it.
Exactly. And so I said, really? And she said, yeah. And so my mom never would buy me a pair of Chucks, especially just for fun. I mean, maybe for school, maybe. And so she bought us a pair of Chucks. My first pair of Chucks Mert bought for me. And I had this little guy in the neighborhood that I liked, and I thought he was my boyfriend. We were talking about it earlier, Toby. And so I wrote his name on one side and wrote my name on the other side. And when I had my first daughter, she was at the hospital with me when I had her, and she just made everything so comfortable, and everything's okay, sweetheart. And Daryl can do the Mert voice. He does it very well. You know how Mert was very proper like that. And, she just made me so calm, and, the birth and everything just went, very well. And, I mean, when we lived out in Ballard, when I lived in that little house in Ballard, I mean, we used to do a lot of partying and having a good time. So, yeah, when Daryl called and told me that she passed away, I was sad. It was bittersweet, but every time I think of her, all I can do is just smile. Yeah. So, we'll miss her.
Well, my name is Robert Jr. They call me Man.
Told us that earlier.
I'm gonna tell you again for the ones that didn't know. But anyway, But anyway, I don't know much about Mert because I was young too. Only thing I remember about Mert is that she was married to my mom's favorite brother, Cleve, and they would come down to visit the South just about every summer. She had I don't know, it was an auntie, Gertrude, who used to live on Pine down there. They would come to visit. They would come to visit us. Then go visit Aunt Mary. You remember Aunt Mary? You don't remember Aunt Mary, please?
Oh, yeah.
Not to my Liz, the old lady.
The one
Aunt
that
Mary.
made you say, ma'am?
Ma'am, the one that carried the gun. yeah. But anyway, But that's all I remember, and I know that if it wasn't for Cleve's dad and things like that, I think we all migrated up here from the South. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think it started out with Colleen's dad, I think, moved up here. Because Cleve was up here. Then the other brother named Billy moved up here. And then somehow Daryl, he was up here. I think he finished school up here. And I was still down in the South finishing up school in Alabama. Went to the military, got out, moved to Georgia. From Georgia, now I'm up here now. I moved up here in 2007. My wife and I was going through a divorce at the time, so I thought maybe it'd be best I move up this way too. So all of us is out here, and I think it's all because of Cleve's dad and things. But anyway, like I said, I don't know that much about Merck. We didn't spend a lot of time together, but I know she's going to be well missed and things like that. But from what I know, we did talk from time to time. A very sweet spirit, and I'm gonna miss that. Yeah. But that's about all I think I can recall.
Let me see.
Thanks for this.
I'm Merck's favorite.
I know that's right.
Favorite. But you never would have known that Merck was not my biological auntie. Like you said, my mom's brother married her. But I lived, Uncle Jimmy, I lived with when I first got here, and I had a job one night. Uncle Jimmy didn't come and get me. So I remember where Merck lived at, so I said, well, let me just see, because it was cold outside, and I went to work with a t-shirt on. So I said, Merck lived somewhere around here. So I walked down 27th for about 15 or 20 blocks, and I seen old Blue out there, old Faithful Blue, her old car.
Yeah.
So I said, this is where Aunt Merck lives at, right here. So I go up there and knocked on the door, and it was.
I kept saying, don't answer the door.
and she let me in. And from that day on, we sat in there. But I've been knowing her all along. We've been, nephew and auntie we was cool. But when she let me in that house and we sat and we talked, Debbie and Cleve, all I know is I went back over to Uncle Jimmy's house
and I got all my stuff. And it was history. I lived after that, and I was one of the kids, you know. So I would, you know, be big brother to them. So it was like being at home because I got him in trouble all the time. Cleve stayed in trouble because anything I done, I put on him. When I went out and I got in trouble, I put it on Debbie because she was old enough to go out with me. So we would have a blast, man. That was a fun house, and Merc is definitely gonna be missed. And there ain't nothing I could say to change the way I know everybody's feeling right now, and I know it really hurt me, and I don't want to take this too serious right now because I know people are grieving right now, but she's just going to be missed a lot, man, in my life because we go so far back, man, and I could tell you stories about her, and it wouldn't do it justice for you. You'd have to be there to really see what we did and what we went through. Because
do her voice.
Please do her voice.
They need some juice to do that, he said he got to have some juice to do that.
Y'all didn't give me a little bit of the recipe. But I'll give you a little bit of what she would do. Did Daryl go out to the club tonight? What did Daryl do? Because I know, because I went to jail one time. So let me tell you the story. So I sat at the house and I got good and lit up high, you want to say, smoking weed, and you was right along with it, Cleve.
I got people I work with here, bro.
Back in the day.
He would never do that now.
That was a long time ago, long time.
So going up the steps in the back, going up the steps to the back of the house, going up steps to Debbie's bedroom, there was a window that was broke out. One of the ones that broke out. It was broke out. That's the story. That's the story, and I'm sticking with it. So anyway, we had found some old guns in the house that was Cleveland's. So we loaded up all the pistols.
My dad, not me.
No, not her. So we loaded up the guns, and like I said again, we buzzing pretty good. We broke out all the ones in the back with the gun and shot out the back of the window. And my butt didn't realize that, you know, we in the city. I wasn't thinking rationally. So I go outside the house. And I take the gun outside to Cleve. Everybody gonna know in this neighborhood not to F with us anymore because we're gonna just show them what time of day it is. So I go outside, boom, 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 shoot up in the sky, and didn't look. And I looked to my right, and was 5 police cars there, and I could have got shot, and they could put me in the hospital right now. Anyway, so I come back in the house, I hid. I said, "Cleve, we gotta hide the gun." So we had this old roll desk that was that you could hide something, and nobody never knew was that. So anyway, to make a long story short, Cleve comes back in the house. He goes, he's banging on the door. He opened the door and said, "Cleve, so all I can remember was a train. They all just pushed me all the way through the house, coming in the house with so many cops." So anyway, to make a long story short, Merc says to me, when she gets home, she said, "What happened? Did he just lose his mind? Or what?" Because he shot out the windows and they got the cops, and it was just a mess the way she looked at it. But she knew we were just having fun and being stupid and being, you know, doing things that kids do. But these are just some of the stories. But they went on and on like this. This could have been a TV show. That's all I can tell you. Because we had some fun time.
Hi, I'm Mary Louise, and I grew up as Myrtle as my aunt. I didn't know any different. That's how she was, and so she taught me how to drive because somebody over here was fussing every time I got in the car. Like I should just automatically know how to drive.
I respected my life.
So she taught me how to drive. She was just so patient, and it's like she didn't get mad. She said, "Debbie just doesn't do what I say." When Debbie was learning how to drive, she kept going close to the yellow line, and she kept telling me, "Don't do like Debbie." So she taught me how to drive. She was there when I had my first son, and I told those people, they kept saying, "Push, push," and I turned around and I said, "I am pushing," and I told her, I said, "I'm done." And Myrtle said, "No, honey, you can't be done." She said, "We have to keep on going. We have to get this baby out." And it was just like she kept rubbing my leg, and I was like, And I told her, "You better get whatever you need to get him out," because I was stuck. So she just talked me through it and stuff. And I said, "Okay." So he didn't care. He stayed in there waiting for another till 2 o'clock in the morning, and he decided to come out. But she was there the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was great having her there. My cousin was watching us one time. My mom was out of town, and so she brought me and my sister over to Myrtle's house, and she tried to tell Myrtle how to take care of us. So Myrtle kindly put her in her place and let her know, "I would take care of these kids before you even got up to Seattle. So you don't need to tell me anything."
Yeah.
So she was always loving, but straight to the point. So you knew just what she was talking about. And she meant business, but she was so nice to us. And she knew how to cook because my cousin didn't. So we were glad to be around.
Legacy is some of the things that she's done and some of the things that I do, and realizing that I've done those things because of her, like being in the birthing room, the reason that I'm probably a doula now. And then one of the other things that I remember is I volunteered at the Black Prisoners Caucus in Monroe. And so back in the day, probably like in the 70s, my mom, along with her church sisters, used to go up there and volunteer, and they would go to this program called Black Awareness. So like that was before Black History Month, but they would have celebrations up there, and that's when you could bring food up there. And I remember when I was up there, I had met a guy that had been incarcerated since 1963, and it blew my mind because he talked about being fearful of coming out, and how much the world had changed. And so when I was telling the story about my mom being up there, he was like, I remember those ladies coming from the church. And so, it's interesting how we take on characteristics of our parents, sometimes some things willingly, some things we don't even realize that we're doing. And then I think at a time like this, and Daryl and I have had some of these conversations already, when they're gone, you start to like cherish some of those things more. And you also start to realize, wow, that's Miss Myrtle right there. That's what she would be doing. Some of her last days in the hospital, and because of COVID, I was only able to go in the last couple of weeks that she was alive. And I remember when when I went in, the first thing she said to me, she said, "I'm ready to go." And I know that Mom believed in God. I know she accepted Jesus as Lord and Savior, and so I have I'm not wondering where she is. I know she's in heaven. And I know she's not suffering anymore. And it reminded me of something that Uncle Grover said before he passed away, which was like days before Anthony and I got married. And Uncle Grover was in a lot of pain too. And he said to me, "I'm not going to be at your wedding. I just want you to know." And I was like, I didn't know how to accept it. And I was like, yes, you will. But he was telling me he wasn't going to be there. And so I think as people get to that point of being able to, of transitioning, it's important to respect that, and honor that. And so when she actually passed, Cleveland and I were there, and I can't tell you how special that was for me. I mean, when she took her last breath, we were there. And I remember, the doctor came in, and I just looked at him, and I said, "She's gone." And he said, "Oh, she's gone?" And I said, "Yeah, she's gone." So the nurses come in, they got to take, one takes the heartbeat, and there's no heartbeat. The other one has to do it, and the doctor has to do it. And it's like, she's already gone. But she just looked like she was sleeping, like you guys saw her today. She just looked really peaceful, right? So I remember sitting up there, and I had some time with her by myself, and Judge Judy was on. So if y'all don't know my mom, she loved Judge Judy just about as much as she loved Young and the Restless. So Judge Judy was on, and I was in there talking to her, and I just went through a series. I think that was the first time I was actually able to cry. And so I looked at her, and I just started crying, and then I made a phone call. I called the funeral home. And then I looked at her again, and I kissed her, and I was like, "Mom, you see what happened with Judge Judy right there?" And then I started crying again, and I made another phone call. So it was just, it was time to just be with her, just me and her. And I'm grateful that we had an opportunity to be there, because I believe that we are all spirit beings having a human experience, and we're all going to transition. That's right. But there's a lot to be said about Miss Myrtle and what she did in our lives while she was here. And the legacy lives on in our hearts. And I'm just so grateful for the folks that are here today. I mean, it's just beautiful to see everybody here, because I know you all loved her, and I know she loved on you. And it's a whole bunch of little babies around here with baby blankets, because every time somebody was about to even think about having a baby, she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna get the blanket ready," right? Right? And so, and how long ago was that? So it's 26 years. Yeah. So She is gonna live on in our hearts. I'm gonna miss talking to her. And Daryl, like you told me, I was talking to my pastor a couple days ago, and he said, his mom died maybe almost a year ago, and he said, Sister Deborah, I was driving down the freeway, and before I knew it, I called my mom, and then I said, she ain't there. And I remember you saying, sometimes it'll just happen, and that's part of the grieving process, and just, we don't get over when people leave us. We move on, and we move on with them in our hearts. So I love you guys, and thank you so much for being here.
I wasn't sharing it like I should have. You know what I mean? And then when I finally got off, I was like, bro, you gotta tell me Miss Hughes, bro. She's the shit.
That's right.
Real talk. And not because she's my mom, but she's really fun to be around.
Right.
And it took me a while to be like, come by. We ain't gotta go nowhere. We hang out right here. And Miss Hughes will hang out and we'll talk, and she does the shock factor. And she gonna say something to make you go, are you serious? And my man said, I'm a cougar, and she'll never see what he's gonna say.
Yeah, she liked when you brought your friends around.
Yeah.
Kim, I gotta go. Cleveland coming in with his friends.
But, and it's funny because once I realized to share more, and we'll go back to the selfish thing, because I know at the end, again, I was being selfish, because I can see that she was in a lot of pain. And she's been fighting this for a minute. This didn't just come yesterday. You know what I mean? And she's been fighting it, and her pain tolerance is bananas. And she was fighting pain that we didn't even know about, but she was gritting it out. So when the pain starts being so much, I remember the doctor saying, we might want to start addressing quality of life. And you guys know me and Mom. I'm like, huh? No, bruh, we're going home. I don't know what you're saying, but we're not going to stop. But then the reality is quality of life. You know what I mean? And for me to be selfish and to keep her here, going through all that pain is not cool, bruh. So it's okay. And it's funny because it took me a while to realize, y'all know we tight, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We did good. We rocked with it. We did some good stuff, and we had some fun. And she taught me a lot of good stuff, and I'll tell you a quick story, and I'm gonna stop. I ain't gonna be as long as you do. But in the last of, I gotta make sure my folks can hear me too. The last of, I remember, we had this little secret dance, her and I. She'd get a little wiggle on, and she'd get a funny look in her face, and that was our thing. So, hey, get your booty on, girl. We gonna get what we did. And I remember the last couple of days in the hospital, it was really, really painful for her to be changed, because she had a lot of sores and a lot of it was painful. And we had a crew of, again, here we go. We had maybe 3 of us, 2 of the nurses staff and myself, and we kind of roll her over here and rub this and do this, and it was so brutal, so painful. You guys know me and Mom, and Mom says, and you're touching her? Girl, you got to back up now. And we had a couple of issues where it was kind of tense. But I never forget the people that were at the hospital. They were so nice and so gentle with her. And the last time she got changed, and we put on some of her music, and she did a boogie with the little nurse, I had to walk out. I ain't gonna lie. That's my booger bear. You know what I mean? And she's okay. So I think the next day she passed, and I thought it was gonna be harder on me. Well, it was fucked up. Excuse me. I'm sorry. But it was okay, because she rocked with it. She had a good run. We had a lot of fun. She touched a lot of people's hearts. And she's out of pain. So we're okay with that. Now I'm gonna be a mess a little bit now. However, I got folks here. I got a small circle, but I got a tight circle. So I'm okay. So that's that.
Miss, but I do hope, like I said again, that you guys stick together right now more than ever before, because you're gonna have a lot of things that's gonna come about along the way here that's gonna try to break y'all up. And as I said again, it's done it to our family, and I just wish somebody had told us all this in the beginning when she died. I wish they'd have told us all that stuff so we'll know what to look for. And you guys should know what to look for, because, I'm going to be around, I'm going to be rapping in your ear all the time. You ain't going to be able to get rid of me like you say, he talked too much. That's okay. That just be doing, you just have to say it. The same thing for you too, Debbie. So y'all know where I'm going with this.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex. Hi, Alex. I think I pretty much know everybody, but Medea Myrtle was, I came in, I met Mama D, when I was 5 years old. And between Mama D and Medea, they treated me as if I came from them. They never treated me any different. And no one would ever know that they weren't blood because they didn't treat me any different. I used to love going over to Medea's house. And I used to love because she would, it was just the best time when I went over there. And I remember going over there and would have the music going and she'd be smoking her little cigarettes and just having, and the box wine. And I would think, you know, because she would smoke her cigarettes, I was like, ooh, that's cool, you know. But I just remember her having the best time with her. And sometimes I would get to sleep over there and she would dress me up in her hat and her blazer and would take pictures and spin around, and I would just have so much fun and just would have the best time. And then she was there for all my major events, and every time I can think of, she's always been there, and she never would miss anything. And then I had my daughter, and she just loved her, and then I just got slid on out the way. Yeah, so I didn't get any more attention, but that's okay. But she was there at my wedding. She made sure everything was there. She was right in the room with us when we were all getting ready, and she just was always there and always treated me, and I just knew everything was good when she was there, and I would smile and just felt amazing when she was always around. And I would just wait for her to say when she's going, hey, old girl, what you been up to? You know, or when she said, you know, or, you know. So I'm really, 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 really going to miss her. But life was sweeter because she was here. So I appreciate everything that she's ever done for me, or the love that she gave me. So.
The last thing she said to me before she died, me and Cleve worked together at CityKid, and we was talking to her in the car, and she told me, I told her when she gonna get out, we're gonna have fun and stuff. She told me, yeah, as soon as and they just cut her leg off, right? She said, you know, we're gonna go dancing. I said, well, just hold up, what? Yeah, as soon as I get out, we going dancing. I said, Cleve, did they just cut her leg?
That didn't matter to her.
You know, it didn't matter. She just said that, you know, and that was the last thing I remember just talking about, you know. She said, okay. I said, all right, we go dancing. She said, yep, we going dancing just as soon as I get out of here. And I just want to say that. That was the last word I talked to her about.
First of all, I'd like to thank Cleve for making me to be part of, I know, having to share his mom with me, because I lost my mom a long time ago. And there things I remember about this beautiful mom. Every time she called Cleve and showed about talking about me dancing. I was a dancing guy. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to play a song and I want to dance for her. You know, I'm gonna, well, I guess I'm the DJ. Wow.
Dedicate a song to her?
Well, I'm gonna play my island music, and then she likes when me move my hips. When I dance for her mom, I say, Mom, I know she here. She here right now. And I'm gonna move my hips for her. Hey, Mom, check me out. It's our last dance, but I'm gonna be there someday, but not now, Mama. Still too young. I love you, Mom. God bless. Have a safe trip. We're gonna be there all someday. Thank you for making me my mom. Thank you, everybody.
Teared up up with that little last move. But you know, my mom always taught us to put a little bit of word in everything you do. So I just want to say that the Bible says weeping only endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning.
Amen.
Amen.
And it really does. You'll never get over it, but you know, you'll get beyond it. And she'll just be with you all the time, all of us.
Amen.